The speech that I'm going to give today is about simple herbs. Do you recognize this plant? You probably do. Most people do. This is marijuana. This plant is now acknowledged all over the world for its medicinal value. So today you can read about marijuana not only in High Times, but also in the Medical Home Journal. Do you recognize this plant? This plant's a little more difficult. This is a common foxglove. You might have remembering it from your grandmother's garden. This plant is responsible for digitalis. Digitalis is a well-known medicine that saves lives when people have heart attacks. In very large doses, digitalis is toxic. It's often the case that what can kill can also cure. Quickly find more information at the National Library of Medicine. My point is that basically all plants or all medicines that we have today originally came from plants. Yet we do have some synthetic medicine, but those synthetics are based off of their original plant derivatives. So they're more economical to make. But originally they were from plants. The plants that are used to make medicine are called herbs. My name is Kimberly Banner, and I have always been obsessed with plants. Always have been, always will be. I started when I was young trying to decode Shakespeare and led me on a lifelong path through herbal lore, herbal medicine, everything plant. One of the first things I was introduced to herbal-wise were herbal simples. So I'm not going to try to teach you how to extract an alkaloid from a plant and make a medicine. I'm not going to do that today. What I'm going to do is teach you a couple herbal simples that are useful for everyone to know. We'll discuss a simple mint tea to help ease your stomach and a jewelweed poultice for poison ivy. We'll also talk about the importance of proper identification. To highlight herbs and their usefulness, imagine that you're deep woods camping. It's 2021. Your friend walks up to you and they're like, "Oh, I'm so itchy," and they won't stop. And you're like, "What's going on?" And they say, "I think I got into some poison ivy." Well, you're going to be able to help this guy. You take off, you go into the woods, you look for a place that's a low ground area with ample water and a lot of sunlight. Bang, you find it. If you found that, odds are in America you probably found jewelweed. You gather some of the plant, you get a rock, you get some tree leaves, shape those tree leaves into a boat, you come back, your friend's like, "What are you doing?" Now you need to grind the plant to a pulp. According to drugs.com herbal database, the alkaloids in jewelweed work better when they're ground up. Like, you need to bring them out, bring them to the surface. If you do that and you apply it to the affected area, it's gonna get rid of 65% of that poison ivy that you have. It's gonna get rid of the sting, it's gonna dry it out. So, this is because it has antihistamines, which basically help inhibit an allergy reaction that you have. Allergic reaction is what's causing the skin to bubble up. It has anti-inflammatories, which reduce the swelling, which is what the bubbling up is. And it also has astringents, which are going to dry it out and keep it clean. You're going to take a rock. You're going to grind your plant to a pulp. You're going to place that pulp in that little tree boat that you made, and you're going to place that on the arm. If you have water, you're going to rinse the affected area. You're going to apply that pulp on the leaves onto the arm, and then you're going to apply that to the area. You're going to go and you're going to need to tie it. If you're like us, we always have string with us when we go camping. Some sort, whether it's for the tent or bags or what, we always have something. But if you don't, You can pick tall grass. Tall grass is strong enough to tie around a poultice and keep it there. You can find new shoots off of trees. Really young sprouting branches are flexible enough to bend around and tie up and keep that on. Now you've got that on, your friend's like, wow, man, I feel better. Thank you so much. When you get home, he's going to tell people. According to Rico and Koch in Mother Earth magazine, making a poultice is as simple as finding the right herb. Easy, right? Yeah. Our next herbal simple is even easier. Do you have mint in your yard? Mint volunteers itself all over America in fields and yards. You might not know how to recognize mint. That's okay. Mint is easy to grow and really inexpensive. So you can just grow your own mint. That way you know where it's at. You know what it is. Mint contains menthol. According to Gerard's Herbal, menthol eases stomach pain. So just as simple as brewing a cup of mint tea. Once you have mint handy, you're just going to snip the branches at will, like wherever you want to snip a branch off, and then you're going to cut it up super small. You're basically going to shred it. You're going to take that shredded mint and you're going to put it in a piece of muslin or cheesecloth. It's about the size of an index card like you would get from a business, like a business card, not an index card. And you're going to take the two ends and pull them up to the top once you have the herb in there. Take a little piece of thread, any kind of thread, and tie it up at the top really securely. Now you have a homemade little tea pouch. You put it in a cup. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to get out your kettle. You're going to put it on the stove to boil just like you normally would. Only this time, you're not going to wait for it to whistle. As soon as your kettle starts to hum, where the water's moving around in there pretty good and it's humming, that's your active water. That's when you want to pull it off the stove. Because if you get it any hotter, if you wait for that whistle, it's so hot that it will actually damage some of the medicinal alkaloids in the plant. So you take it off as soon as it starts to hum and you pour it over your sachet that you have in your teacup and you let it sit for 5 minutes. Then you have herbal tea. You can add honey if you want to, if you're used to things being sweeter. So honey you can add without it disturbing the effects of it helping your stomach, but don't add anything else. Oops, sorry, stop. Brewing your tea is no fun though if you pick the wrong herb. Do you know what this plant is? You recognize it? Does it look like Queen Anne's lace or maybe a wild carrot? If you're from the country, you might know what those are. Actually, this plant is hemlock. Hemlock is lethal poison. Hemlock is poisonous to humans and animals. Wild carrot and hemlock. This is wild carrot, this is hemlock. Can you tell the difference? Because most people can't. You really have to get in there and look and know what you're looking for. By deadly, when I talk about hemlock, I mean drop dead deadly. This is the plant that Socrates drank in his poisoned chalice freely and of his own will to commit suicide in his death of punishment from the courts. Hemlock is not a good way to go. It freezes up your nervous system. It's not like the poison you see on TV where someone's rolling around on the floor, ow, 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 and then dying. No. What hemlock does is it freezes up your nervous system. So you're basically paralyzed. You're not just paralyzed, you are so paralyzed that you cannot breathe. You literally cannot breathe. So you don't die rolling around hurting, you die laying there being able to help the fact that you're suffocating. And that sounds really morbid, and it's not to scare you, even though maybe it is a little bit, but it's just to stress the importance of knowing what plants you pick. Have a healthy respect for them. Just because it looks like something doesn't mean it is. Make sure it is, especially before you use it on your skin or put it in your mouth. It's easy and helpful to carry a guidebook. This is just one guidebook. There's so many of them out there, it's ridiculous. Just pick up one for your area carry it around with you, you know. You might even find something in there that you need when you're in a, you know, in a pinch, in an emergency. Now that we've covered plants and medicine, poultices, teas, and why it's so important to pick the right herb, to know your herbs, ID it properly, I hope that you actually want to know more about this and you'll look into it on your own. Thank you.